I'm going to try this. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice. That is solid. So, what a nice introduction and, all the stuff and all the places and all of that, okay? Here's my favorite introduction I've ever had. I teach at the International Coaches Academy for Athletes in Action, and in that role, I've met coaches from all over the planet. I'm currently mentoring some coaches in Africa, and they asked me how I wanted to be introduced one year at the Coaches Academy. And they were going to run the list, as Joe has so graciously done today. And I said, how about this? How about tell them I'm a dude that loves God and has been to the gym a lot? So you can pick either introduction. I'm good with both of them. When Joe called me about coming to speak today, my first reaction was, he said, I graduated in 1983 from what was then Northwest Christian College. What he didn't tell you is I started my illustrious academic career as a freshman in 1976. See, there's some math majors in here. See, I was on the 7-year plan. Eventually, I'm positive that I graduated, but there was this moment towards the end of my academic career when Dr. Song Nai Rhee, who was our academic dean and was my favorite Old Testament professor, just kind of pulled me aside and said, young man, you've had enough. So it's an honor to be here with you today, and it's so special to share this time with our graduates, our faculty, our staff, the families, the friends, the supporters. I'm just so delighted to be here. So Joe, again, called and asked me, and I thought, well, let's see. We're in a gym. I can do that. And I got, 15-ish minutes. Sounds like halftime. So we're going to do halftime today, okay? So how does halftime work? Here's how halftime works. We go in the locker room, and we talk about what has happened in the first half, and then we talk about what's in front of us. So that's what we're going to do today. First, we're going to talk about what has happened. As I was preparing for this, the coach in me kicked in a little bit. And so I decided to get a scouting report on you all. And so I called various people on our campus, and I said, hey, tell me about our graduating class. Tell me about who they are. Tell me about what their experience has been like. And these people gave me kind of the same words, so it was a reliable scouting report. And here's what they told me. They said you were calling focused. You knew why you were here. You know what your why is. They said you were intentional. You had a really strong sense of what your purpose was. They said you were resilient. Regardless of what happened around you, you just kept rolling. You didn't get knocked off course. They said you were relational. They really talked about how much support you've had for one another, how you've bonded together through this process and supported one another. Level-headed. Never get too high, never get too low. Stay forward focusing and do your work. And then they all said you were very intelligent. They told me that the incoming freshman class, some of you have survived and graduated in 4 years, beat me by 3 to the finish line. They said you were the smartest incoming graduating class in the history of the school. You all are graduating in amazing majors across the spectrum of our academic offerings. So to put it in terms that I can understand, you guys are wicked smart. So you've clearly accomplished a ton, and you've created great memories and great friendships. So in the words of the most popular philosopher of the 21st century and closet Kansas City Chiefs fan, hold on to the memories, they will hold on to you. Thanks, Taylor Swift. So that's what's already happened. That's what's already happened. Now, what's ahead of us? Right? In basketball, what happens in the first half, it sets the stage for the second half. It doesn't determine the outcome. It just sets the stage for the second half. And I have good news for all of you. In our little metaphorical halftime exercise we're having right now, you have established a really good lead. You are leading at halftime. And so now the question is, what are we going to do with that lead? Okay? You're on the start of an amazing journey now. And it's an opportunity to use the wisdom and the skills and the relationships that you formed here during your time at Bushnell. So this morning, looking forward, I want us to look at 4 lessons we can take from another group that went on a journey, the Israelites in Exodus. The first lesson, okay? You are going to be asked to do some things, to take some jobs, to have some tasks in your life that you are not going to feel prepared for. Okay? Our scripture reading today, right? Moses is on the mountain talking to God. And the verses before 11, it is very clear that that dude knows he's talking to the creator of the universe. And God says, hey, got a job for you, Moses. Go down, free the Israelites, take care of Pharaoh for me. And Moses said, this is the Mike Petersen, that was New International, okay? This is the Mike Petersen abridged version. Moses said, God, I'm not your dude. And God says the 5 coolest words. I will be with you. How awesome is that? I will be with you. As Joe told you, I was the head coach at Gonzaga, women's basketball. I got that job when I was 27 years old. Exactly. My man right here said, wow. Okay. I was an okay player. Okay. I think I was an okay assistant coach. Okay. I had no idea how to be a head coach. Like the only thing I knew for sure when I got that job is that I had no idea what I was doing. None. And it was just like, here's the keys, bro. Knock yourself out. And at the time, I didn't know it. At the time, I couldn't feel it. But with hindsight, looking back, I guarantee you, I can see God's fingerprints all over my time here. In spite of my full-throated, completely committed efforts to screw that deal up, God just would not allow it. And God, he was with me. And so my encouragement for you is just to always remember that. Regardless of what task you're taking on, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of what you got going on, God is with you. And rest in that. Take comfort in that. Take confidence in that, because it's enough. Our second lesson, okay? Your path is not always going to be straight. Your progress is not always going to be linear. God didn't take, when the Israelites, Moses got them, God helped Moses. He got them out of there. God didn't take them on a straight line to the promised land, right? They went around their back to get to their elbow. But God knew what was best for them. He knew if they went on a straight line, Philistines were sitting there. And he said, if they face war, they may go back to Egypt. He was protecting them. And so your path is probably not going to be in a straight line. It's okay. Okay? God is leading you. God is directing you where you are supposed to be. Through the years, I've seen tons of freshmen at the college level and then rookies at the pro level. And they come to us, and every one of them was like the stuff wherever they came from, right? They were all state, all American, all front yard, all side yard, all Aunt Matilda. They were all something. okay? And then they get to that next level and they have to take on a different role, right? Most of them, now they've got to kind of be a sub or they've got to be a rotational player, right? And the ones, in my experience, the ones that go on to have the best career and go on to fulfill their potential are the ones that don't let that little deviation knock them off course, right? They understand, hey, this isn't where I want to be, but it's the path to where I want to go to. There's a great worship song called This Far from a group called the Belonging Company in Nashville. And I am definitely not going to sing. So I'm going to read you the chorus. It's best for all of us, trust me. You didn't bring me this far to leave me here. You didn't ransom my heart to let it forget. Every wall you tore down, every chain on the ground, you didn't bring me this far to leave me here. My encouragement for you is just do your best to remember God knows where you are. He knows where you're going, and he knows how you're going to get there. Take confidence in that. Rest in that. Third, God provides, okay? In Exodus 15, 16, 17. When the Israelites are thirsty, God gives them water. When the Israelites are hungry, God gives them manna. God provides. Now, as an aside here, okay, I'm going to use my biblical studies degree from here at Bushnell. This is free. This is no extra charge. The translation of the Hebrew word for manna into English is, what is it? Okay, well, I live in the South now, okay, and in the South, we have a pretty strong idea about what it is. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I did not vet this with Dr. Song Nai Rhee, my Old Testament professor, who was one of my all-time favorite professors, and I am reasonably certain that Dr. Ihanya Igwe is not going to sign off on this doctrinally. But in the South, we are very convinced that manna is Chick-fil-A. Think about it. Stay with me. Stay with me. Okay. Don't burn me at the stake for heresy, okay? But stay with me. Think about it. Tastes like it came from God's kitchen. And, just like the Israelites, can't get it on the Sabbath. It's a giant leap from burned at the cross to mild applause. Our culture is going to try to tell you what you need. Our God knows what you need. My encouragement for you is just to remember that. Remember that our God knows what we need. Again, just rest in that. Take that confidence with you. Finally, and they all said amen, God's gifting will match your vocation and his purpose. So in Exodus 31, God's telling the Israelites, he's giving them instructions on how to build the tabernacle, right? And he tells Moses about these two men, Bezalel and Aholiab. Hope I got those right. I think I did. And he says, and I have given them skill to make all of the things that I have commanded you. My encouragement for you here is trust your training. Trust your training. We used to tell our athletes all the time, whenever we got into stressful situations, close games, we're not playing great, we're on the road, all of that stuff. We would just, hey, trust your training. And what we were telling them was that they had the gifts, and they had the knowledge, and they had the habits to have success. You didn't have to do anything new. You didn't have to be a hero. You just had to trust your training. And if you trust your training, things will work out for you. Your intelligence and your level-headedness, that is going to serve you so well in these times. Trust your training, okay? You've been gifted uniquely by God, and you have done the hard work to learn to apply those gifts in all areas of your life. Your family, your faculty, your community has poured into you to help you with that. So trust your gifting. Trust your training. Academically, spiritually, vocationally, trust your training, and you are going to do great, great things. So now, and I'm going to leave time for everybody to get some shots up before the second half starts. So now, as my final encouragement for you, I want to share the words of William Carey. William Carey was a missionary in the late 1700s and early 1800s in India. And a lot of people consider him the father of modern missions. And William Carey said this: expect great things from God, and then attempt great things for God. Congratulations, and go Beacons.